So officially, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the graduate school orientation for master students for fall 2023. On behalf of the graduate school, our Vice Provost and Dean, Dr. Ambika Mathur, and of course, all of our community of staff and faculty and students and administrators like to welcome you officially to UTSA. We're very glad you're here. We hope that you're going to find the information this morning to be useful. Of course, this is just the starting point. We are not going to be able to really get into all of the nitty-gritty of everything. We will answer as many questions as possible. If there is a burning question that you have that you are not able to get answered during this session, you of course can ask a question during your college or program orientation that should, if it hasn't already happened, should be happening within the next couple of weeks. Or of course, you can email us. What I would encourage you to do is email us, and I'm going to put this into the chat. You can shoot us an email at gps@utsa.edu. GPS stands for Graduate and Postdoctoral Success. So again, if you do not get your questions answered, or you think of a question after the session is over that you wish, darn it, I wish I had asked John or Tim or Madhumita this question, or one of the other people that are going to be guest speaking with us today, not a problem. You can ask us at a later time and we will get that answer to you as quickly as possible. What I like to do too is welcome all of our various populations of students. I know we have a lot of alumni on this Zoom meeting, so welcome. If you are an alumni of UTSA, welcome back to UTSA. If you are new to UTSA, whether that be a domestic student or an international student, in town, in state, out of the country, we would like to welcome you to the University of Texas at San Antonio. The UTSA is a Research One institution, and we are also, just as of today, received notification that we are now in the category of a top tier research university in Texas as well. So this is a good time to be UTSA, and we're thrilled you're here. And I'm going to go ahead and start with a few items. That's of course me. I'm John Schaefer, the Associate Director for Graduate Student Success and Professional Development. And let's go over your Rowdy Ready checklist. If you are not aware and you're thinking, why do I keep seeing the word Rowdy pop up all over the place? Rowdy is UTSA's beloved mascot, our Roadrunner. So you'll see Rowdy a lot, whether that be in print or in person. First of all, and you had this link in the emails that I have sent you. You had the link or an attachment with your checklist, but I just wanted to go over a couple key items because these are the areas where we tend to get the most questions. So answering some of this now might mitigate some of your questions later. First of all, a big question is, where do I get my UTSA ID? So you can do this one of two ways. If you want to do it the hard, old school way, you can visit campus. And the locations for the offices where you can get your UTSA ID on the main and downtown campus are on that Rowdy Ready checklist. You can also, of course, go onto the UTSA website, search for student ID, and all that information will pop up for you. The other thing you can do is you can actually order your ID online, and that ID will be mailed to you. So the other question I get is, do I need an ID before stepping foot on campus? The answer is no, you do not. We do recommend that all students have an ID. It is not mandatory, but it does benefit you sometimes getting into certain events, such as football games, sporting events, other UTSA campus-wide events. Also, there are perks to having a UTSA ID card around the city of San Antonio. There are areas such as movie theaters where you can show your ID and get a discount, which with how movie prices, especially popcorn and drinks are now, I think any extra money off of a night out of the movies would be a huge benefit. Your parking permit. A lot of students ask about, where do I get a parking permit? You do not get your parking permit on campus. This is also done online, virtually. And you again can go, and the link is also in the email that I sent all of you. If you click on the link, it will take you to where you can not only choose what type of parking permit you want, but then you can order it. It should be mailed to you within, I believe, I'll say on the outside 7 to 10 business days. There is an option to download a temporary permit. If you do not have a permit hanging in your car and you park on in one of the university surface lots without the appropriate permit, you will receive a citation. The other options for you is, of course, there are on the main in downtown campus. There are 4 different parking garages that you can park in any one of them. There is, if you do not have a parking garage pass, there is a cost per hour, and I believe it's now sitting at $2. So $2 per hour to park in any of the garages. Of course, the garages do get you closer to the academic buildings. So again, parking permit, you order it online. You should get it, if not 3 to 5 business days, 7 to 10 business days. Really depends on how busy they are. Order your parking permit, and then in the meantime, you can print a temporary parking permit. Students, especially if you are an existing or a former student alumni, you know this, but new students, do make sure that when you get your parking permit that you are parking in student parking lot locations. These are designated. There's very good signage around campus. I can tell you where not to park. Do not park in any lots that say faculty, staff, A or B or 24-hour reserved. If you park in any of these spots, you will receive a citation. Only exceptions are faculty, staff, B as in boy, parking after 4:30 p.m. and I believe on weekends. You then students with a C as in cat parking permit can upgrade after 4:30 p.m. and on weekends to park in faculty, staff, B parking. After 4:30 p.m. and on weekends, which means you are an evening student, you are here during the evening, or you happen to come up here on a weekend. If you have questions about financial aid enrollment and admissions, encourage you to visit our one-stop locations. The primary one-stop location is here on the main campus in the John Peace Library. We have a staff that can meet with you that are from the Division of Strategic Enrollment, and they can talk to you about any financial aid enrollment or admissions concerns. They also can, I believe, talk about fiscal concerns as well, possibly. If you want to contact them, if you don't want to come up to campus, you don't want to physically go there, you can call. I'm sure I have lost my train of thought. 210-458-8000. That's the number, 210-458-8000. I would say if you come up to campus, you're going to have less of a wait time than if you get on the phone. We encourage you to check your student email regularly. There is not an option for you to have official university communication go to a personal email address. All university communications will go to your UTSA student email, which is your name.lastname@my.utsa.edu. So I would encourage you to check that regularly. Speaking on behalf of the graduate school, this is the primary way we will be communicating with you, letting you know about socials, special events, different types of workshops, and funding opportunities and other reminders. Technology, make sure you are familiar with everything having to do with students, ASAP, Blackboard, AirRowdy, which is the campus-wide Wi-Fi, and of course, Zoom, now that we're in more of a hybrid virtual content area, then you will want to make sure that you are familiar and can log into a Zoom account. Zoom accounts are provided by the university. So students can utilize Zoom for various things. If you have questions about any of the technology pieces, you can contact our Tech Cafe at UTSA, which is you can either email techcafe@utsa.edu, or you can call 210-458-5555. Now, as I mentioned before, you most likely will be having a college or department orientation, so make sure that you're looking out for that information. If you have not heard from your college or department about an orientation session, you may want to contact your academic department and find out. We, as the graduate school, do not take part in the department or college orientations. So probably best not to ask us about when those are, because we don't know and we're not always sure who exactly to contact. You want to contact your graduate advisor, your program coordinator, someone who has communicated with you from the department should know that information. The other thing we encourage you to do is, although we are very active via email, realistically, we know that a lot of students do not receive their information about goings on via email. So we do encourage you to follow us on our social media platforms. We are very active on all the platforms listed, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So, but for keeping up with our events, our announcements, places you can get free food, free swag, and free sessions about professional development and other opportunities. The primary locations would be Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So follow us on Facebook at UTSA The Graduate School. Twitter would be at UTSA Grad School. Instagram is UTSA The Graduate School. So again, take a moment. You're home right now. I'm sure you have your phone or smart device right next to you. Go into one of those apps, whichever one is your preference, and follow us so you can receive all the latest events if you do not want to be regularly checking your email. So just to tell you some of the things that we do offer you as a graduate student here at UTSA, this is specifically out of the graduate school and operated by our team, the GPS team, which is, again, as I mentioned, graduate and postdoctoral success. So just a couple things I'm going to go over briefly. Again, you will receive regular emails about all of these pieces, and a lot of them will also be posted on social media. So this is just to kind of give you a snapshot of what you can expect on a semester basis from the graduate school. So undergraduate and postdoctoral success, we do offer something called micro-credentialing badges. We offer these badges via virtual sessions, which are synchronous. So that means they are live, but they are virtual. So the majority of our workshops, our guest speakers, our special sessions are via Zoom. And we do market these to our graduate students, whatever sessions are upcoming every week. So every week, I think it's like Wednesday or Thursday, our marketing and communication person sends out an email to all graduate students, and it includes the upcoming events for the following week. So of course, you can either wait for the email or you can go onto the graduate school website and look at our events calendar. So that's graduateschool.utsa.edu, and you can look under current students for the events calendar, and it'll list everything there as well. So if you want to kind of look ahead and you're a planner, I would encourage you to do that. We also offer sessions and opportunities for micro-credentialing badges that are linked to some of our sessions via our YouTube channel. Currently, on the graduate school YouTube channel, we have hundreds of special recorded sessions that have been provided that have been recorded live in the past, where you can watch the video, you can maybe do a deliverable for, let's say, public speaking or leadership or delegation. Those are just a couple examples. And you can submit those deliverables to the email associated with the badge, and then you can receive a micro-credentialing badge. You may be asking yourself, Okay, so what's the point of a micro-credentialing badge? How does this benefit me? So on your resume or CV, as you're moving forward in your academic career and your professional career, oftentimes there's an area for special skills and trainings. Now, if you can simply state that you attended a session on, let's say leadership 101, versus receiving a micro credential in Leadership 101. What that denotes to employers and to organizations is that you took an extra step and actually did XYZ amount of extra work to receive this micro credentialing badge. So it just holds a little bit more credibility, and more companies and organizations around the country are recognizing micro-credentialing badges and their value. So of course, this is voluntary, this is not mandatory, but I would encourage you that if there is an opportunity to receive a badge that's attached to one of our sessions, whether it be again, already recorded on our YouTube channel or an upcoming virtual session, that you take advantage of that opportunity. The other thing we offer every semester is the Career Pathways Guest Speaker Series. This is always divided up into 3 different sessions. One is an alumni career story. The second is usually a panel discussion of a mix of alumni, community leaders, possibly faculty here at UTSA. And then we have our National Perspectives guest speakers. So someone at a little bit more of a 20,000 foot level talking about a specific career area. So each semester we tend to focus on a specific college so we can drill down a little bit more. This semester we happen to be focused on College of Sciences. And so our career pathways, all of our sessions in the career pathways will be focused on careers outside of academia, but in the sciences that are linked to the disciplines that we have here at UTSA. So if you are a College of Sciences student, be on the lookout for those. And even if you're not a College of Sciences student, but you're interested, we would encourage you to attend. There are no badges attached to our Career Pathways series, but we still encourage you to visit. These sessions will also be virtual. So wherever you are, you can hop on your phone, on your smart device, on your laptop, and listen to the session. We do always record these sessions. So these sessions are then posted within 24 to 48 hours on the Graduate School YouTube channel. This semester, we will be offering our 3MT research competition. Students get to present their research in 3 minutes or less for a monetary award for first, second, or third place. I know you're thinking, well, I'm just starting, I may not be ready for that. I just wanted to make sure you know that this is an opportunity in future semesters. Doctoral students and master students are welcome to compete. And we do this every fall semester and around the October timeframe. So just be on the lookout for that. And we do encourage students, even if you are not actually competing, that you do participate, or you do participate by attending, and just to kind of see how things go. For anything like the 3MT or any of the sessions we do in person, there's oftentimes food involved, and I'm not going to get too far into that because I'll be turning it over to Tim, who oversees all of our kind of on-campus socials and event management. So, but regardless of if you participate or not, there's free food or compete. So I would encourage you to do that. The other thing, and again, this is something way far in the future for most of you, but the graduate school also has a multi-pronged approach for thesis and dissertation support. So some of you, your programs will require you to submit a thesis to the graduate school for review. You'll have to defend it to your thesis committee, et cetera. We do provide different services for thesis and dissertation students. So we have a dissertation camp that we do during the summer. The UTSA libraries here on campus provides formatting checks for your document. And then of course the graduate school, specifically me and Tim, provide final submission assistance to make sure that your document gets submitted, is in good shape and in a timely manner so that we can get you graduated. So of course, this is for the majority of you, this is not going to be till towards the end of your program. But if you are in fact going to be working on a thesis, these are some things to keep in mind. Funding opportunities. I'm really going to talk about primarily the first one. The second one it more applies to doctoral students, but we have a lot of master's students that do travel to conferences to present their research. And again, you may think, well, this is not something I'm going to be doing in my first semester. Granted, but we want you to know that there is funding available from the graduate school if you are selected to present at an academic professional conference. So the max award you can receive is $750. We do fall, spring, and summer awarding. We do 2 rounds in the fall, 2 rounds in the spring, and 1 round during the summer. The funding does not run out, so it does not tend to be a first come, first serve. We can basically award all the students that submit an application, and we get a lot. Honestly, we get hundreds a year. So I would encourage you to keep that in the back of your mind. And if you are at some point in the future selected to present your research at a conference, if you don't remember, you remember that something mentioned something about funding, but you don't remember, just email either myself, you can email Tim, or you can email gps@utsa.edu, and we can make sure that you receive all the information about applying for the GSP Travel Award. And now I'm going to stop talking for a moment, and I'm going to turn it over to Tim to talk to you about the various types of socials, engagements, and what's all involved with those for a few minutes. So Tim, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Yeah. So as John mentioned, in addition to all of the events around professional development in your time here at UTSA, as a graduate student, we also do community building, social networking events. The two hallmark ones, the ones that occur monthly, are the First Friday event, which happens on the first Friday of every month. That happens every month, except for months whenever there's a graduation or a commencement. So, for example, we don't do it in August, December, or May, or January, because we're not in session. But any month that we are in session, the first Friday of the month, we'll do a First Friday social. Those are here on main campus in the multidisciplinary building in front of the grad space, which I'm guessing will be mentioned later, the grad spaces. And that's just an opportunity for students to come and enjoy free food, and we give out lots of swag and also get to know other graduate students from other programs, and build a community outside of your immediate cohort of students that you'll interact with in your program. Additionally, we do the same thing on downtown campus. That is usually on the first Thursday of the month. Sometimes it ends up being a Wednesday, just depending on scheduling. So, and that's at downtown campus. Again, it's lots of free food and free swag. So come and get food that you don't have to pay for, and lots of grad school swag. The very first ones are already scheduled. So the first one at downtown campus is going to be on August 30th. And the first one of the semester on main campus is going to be on September 1st. So the first day of September, in a couple weeks. Beyond that, every April, we do Graduate Student Appreciation Week. That's a week-long series of events all focused around graduate students. We involve campus partners, including like the library, campus wellness, student life, other groups around campus to help provide events around campus. And again, it usually involves lots of free food, lots of opportunity to meet other graduate students, build your own social network outside of your immediate cohort of students you're in classes with, and of course, get free swag as well. So those are the main community building events we do. Please take advantage of them. They're a great opportunity for you to meet people and interact with people who you don't normally see in your day-to-day classes.
Thanks, Tim. I will mention, and this is not only my opinion, but it has been stated by many of my colleagues around campus, that the graduate school does have the best swag And if you don't know what swag means, it's basically the stuff that we give away to students at all of our in-person events. So like the socials, Tim always puts together a really good amount of graduate school swag. We are you all as incoming students will be some of the first to receive the new what we're calling the breakfast set. So it's a matching ceramic campfire mug and bowl that are both labeled with UTSA branding, and they're purple. So if you like purple, which I do, and I know Tim does too, they're great giveaways. We also have water bottles and insulated coffee mugs and t-shirts and sunglasses. And sometimes if you're at a really special event, sometimes you might even get a unique giveaway like a Aquathump Bluetooth speaker. It just depends. Those are very unique. But if you attend the events, you will see these swag. We provide swag, like I said, at every single one of our on-campus events. And so encourage you to attend. As Tim said, we do these a lot, at least the first Fridays and the downtown campus socials on a monthly basis. So be on the lookout for those and add them to your calendar. Make sure you attend and drop by and say hi. So I am probably ahead of schedule. Let me see. Oh no, I'm actually right on time. So I am waiting for one of my colleagues to pop on, who's going to be one of the student success analysts. We go to the next. So I'm actually going to switch roles. I'm going to let Tim be the moderator and ask the questions, and myself and our coworker Eric are going to answer the questions that Tim has about kind of the best ways to be successful in graduate school. So really quickly, let me see if Eric is going to pop on. Actually, Tim, can you message him just so I don't have to?
He actually just messaged me. His Zoom is updating. He will be on as soon as
Okay, he'll be on momentarily. We'll just take a little few minute break. If y'all want to go refill your coffee, whatever you'd like to do, please feel free to do that.
Also, just a quick note, there will be time at the end where we'll answer questions that were typed in the Q&A. So please keep questions going there. There's time at the end in which we will answer them, just so everyone is aware.
While we're waiting for Eric, I can actually answer a couple of these questions. I'd like to know what steps we need to get fully enrolled after payment. Once you've registered for classes, you are considered fully enrolled. So at that point, you can utilize all the services on campus. However, you will need a student ID to, for example, check things out from the library, utilize the gym. Parking would be you just order your parking permit online. It says I'm showing. Stop sharing for a moment. The one thing with Zoom and hopefully that's better. I think now you're gonna see just the presentation screen. Let's see. How would I know what campus to attend and when the class is going to be? I'm a graduate student or just social work. Social work, I'm unsure. I believe that's a downtown campus. So you would be going to classes on the downtown campus. The building location, the room number should be located on when you enroll for classes, when you register for classes and you receive your schedule on ASAP, it should state where the building and what the room number is. And now we have Eric. Hi, Eric. Thank you for joining us. And I am going to flip it now over to Tim. So Tim, you go ahead and moderate and Eric and I will answer your questions.
All right, wonderful. Well, first, just to reintroduce myself, as John mentioned earlier, my name is Tim Pelaez. I am the senior program coordinator for the grad school here at UTSA. My main role is working with social events, but I do a couple of other things like help out with thesis dissertation and travel awards, things John talked about earlier. We have our two panelists today are past alumni of UTSA, and one is actually a current student in a grad program at UTSA. They're going to tell us a little bit about their experience as grad students and answer some questions we have for them. So our two panelists are John Schaefer, who you have already met, and Eric Ruigas, both from the graduate school. If you both don't mind introducing yourself, John, I think you can probably, I think they know you by now.
Yeah, I mean, other than to say I am a two-time alum of UTSA, so go Runners. And I have been an employee of UTSA since 2006 and an employee of the graduate school since 2008. But I'll turn it over to Eric to introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Gutierrez. I am a current student in the PhD in Educational Leadership program with a higher ed emphasis. This is my first time attending UTSA as a student. I've worked here for the last 4 years. I did my bachelor's at St. Mary's University here in San Antonio, and I went for my master's of education at the University of Notre Dame. I took 4 years off. Yeah, about 4 years off before pursuing my PhD, and currently enjoying the program. Thank you all for having me.
All right, so my first question is going to be for you, John, since you're a double alum. What's one of your favorite memories of your time in graduate school?
Here at UTSA, to provide a little bit of context, when I was a graduate student, there were no services for graduate students specifically. It's a much different place now, but if I were to look, so my memories focus more on directly on my classroom experience, and I would say the relationships and the networking that was created with my cohort. I am still friends with a number of those people. A few of them actually also work for UTSA now. And one of the people that I was in my cohort with gave me my first job in higher ed. So networking matters. Networking matters. So that's probably my best memory or best experience.
Awesome. And Eric, a question for you. If you knew then what you know now, what's one piece of advice you would give yourself as you begin graduate school?
Sleep is essential to your personal and academic success. I think when I was an undergraduate, I didn't really pay attention to sleep as much. And then the first time I started my master's, I didn't pay attention as much. But now, the key to like going to school while you're a part-time student and working, like you have to maintain a balance, have like a set schedule. Being able to prioritize your sleep is a possibility as a graduate student. I think like we get caught up with the amount of work that we get and let it be an excuse to put things off. But yeah, maintaining your schedule and just being able to focus and think about how can I manage to maintain the sleep that I need, and then work your schedule backwards and doing your work is doable. And long term, it just, you'll feel better, you'll feel more refreshed, you'll be happier with your job, happier in your classes as well.
Awesome. And John, you kind of hit on this actually a little earlier when you mentioned in your first answer, but can you talk a little bit about mentorship and why it's important to find a professional mentor and how to go about doing so?
Yeah, for sure. I had different mentors. I would say short-term, long-term people that that I considered a mentor that didn't know that I considered them a mentor. But I think it's important only because oftentimes your mentor are the people that have more experience in the field that you're going into. So for me, that's higher ed. So to be able to speak with people and get to know people and bounce ideas off of people and talk about a career trajectory with people that have been in the field longer than me is beneficial. And I still, honestly, I still do that. I've been in the higher ed, I've been a higher ed professional for close to 17 years. And I still will look to people that have been in higher ed longer to kind of talk to about career development and career trajectories. And then after this many years, I found that whether officially or unofficially, I tend to be mentors to some of my colleagues and people that haven't been in higher ed as much. So I think it's a vital relationship for growth in any field, but specifically it does benefit you professionally.
And then I'm going to follow up. The second part of that is how do you go about finding a mentor?
Sometimes it can be an official avenue where maybe it's going to be a faculty member. If you are a student, as I had talked about earlier, if you're a student that's working on a thesis or dissertation, sometimes the mentor ends up being your faculty chair and sometimes not, or someone, a member of your committee or a faculty members that you've had. And you can develop that formal mentor relationship. I think other times a mentor may just simply fall in your lap based on your professional experience. So somebody in your workplace or someone within your network or someone that is a connection of a connection, to use like a LinkedIn term that you tend to gravitate to, and you utilize them as an unofficial mentor, someone you can still talk to, but you don't have an official mentor relationship. So those probably, so there's more of the planned, and then there is the organic, I think, of the way of looking for a mentor.
Awesome, thank you. And Eric, now another question for you. As a current graduate student, what's the best piece of advice you've been given in relation to graduate school?
Creating a routine and sticking to it. It sounds really simple, and it really is like something that has been the best advice for me. Had one of my mentors, she leads a research team, getting us involved with extra things outside of class, and she talks about creating a schedule. So being able to organize the times that you're going to consistently study. So my partner knows from 6 to 7:30, like any day of the week that I'm not in coursework, she knows that's my uninterrupted study time. And that allows me to just do what I have to do and get in that routine. So that way I can make time for us like on the weekend. And that routine really keeps you in check to keep up with the things you need to do and adjust as you need. But really the routine is kind of like exercise. When you do it for a certain amount of time, your body kind of like is used to that. And when it doesn't do it, it feels off. So it's the same thing, like your brain doesn't feel the same when you have that routine. It's like, oh, this is the time I'm supposed to do this. you create those healthy habits, and those habits then lead to like your results, which are like what your outcomes are for your program, for your coursework, and what you're trying to do outside of coursework. Oh, and the other thing too is like being able to look at like different ways to maximize your efficiency. Sometimes, like even if you create the routine, there's different things that you can do to make that. I use the Pomodoro technique. That's the other thing someone introduced me to that's been really helpful. So I'll work for 30 minutes straight, no interruptions, no cell phone, nothing like that. And then like I'll take like a 4 to 5 minute break and then add like time each time I do it to increase like the stamina. It's hard to just read for like an hour and a half without stopping when you're not like used to reading peer-reviewed articles. And that's another thing that was like really helpful for advice to help myself build up to it. So using the combination of those two things.
Yeah. Next, another question for John, specifically because this is very much your wheelhouse. Why is professional development as important as academic development?
Academic development, the learning part of graduate school or undergrad is obviously primarily why you're here. Why all of these students are here, why all of these students are in this orientation session is to get the degree. But what has become a big piece of graduate education across the nation, to be honest, is the career out of the classroom preparation, which is where the graduate school and honestly other entities on campus come in, and we will provide you these various niche skill sets, whether that be soft skills like public speaking, leadership, delegation, conflict management, or even on the success side, student success side, there's, research, grant writing, and stuff like that, but that also translates into a professional piece. So you can continue within or go into a area of, career, professionalism, because you have the degree, but the pieces of professional development gives you those extra skill sets to really set you up for success within the workplace. And that's what our pieces that we provide do. It kind of gives you those basic skills to propel you within the workplace and allow you to maybe advance quicker than one of your colleagues or coworkers, and honestly be the best professional that you can be, not to sound very cliche, but really is to be the best professional you can be. And all of our I'm going to put in a shameless plug right now, but all of our professional development sessions that we offer, really the core of it, when we think about what we're going to offer and what guest speakers we're going to invite and who we're going to include, it all is around the concept of self-empowerment. So we are not only empowering students to improve themselves, but the goal of our guest speakers is to empower our students that are listening to them and to encourage them to be the best professionals that they can be. And so when you kind of boil all of the stuff down, it really is our programming that has to do with developing you as a professional and also as a person. It really is that core piece of empowerment.
All right, Eric, especially as a current graduate student, in your opinion, what are the best ways to engage in the classroom as a grad student?
So no one's going to be a better advocate for you than yourself. So when you're in the classroom, there are times where we will learn things that we may not be as familiar with or may not be like as knowledgeable. Don't sit and like think like, oh, I'm not too sure if I understood that. Don't sit in confusion. Don't sit in like that lost space. The professors are here to help you. Those people that you're in class with are here to help you. Your advisor is here to help you. You can ask one-on-one, you can ask by email. I just would like really emphasize like reach out and ask for help. There was this really eloquent essay I read, I think 2 years ago, and it was about like science and research and stupidity. And it was about this faculty member who was really successful in their field of science and feeling like this feeling of like not knowing something, and at times like grappling with this idea of like, oh, I don't get it, I'm not smart enough. But understanding that it's really the inverse of that, it's really about looking at like those feelings are what lead to answers. So sometimes asking these questions don't just help you, it helps everyone around you, because then everyone gets to learn and see a new perspective. So it really shifted that mentality. So like really like don't be afraid to ask questions, don't be afraid to like in the unknown. That's why you're taking these classes, to learn. So really use that to drive you to engage. And from there, like the rest just kind of falls into place.
Yeah. John, in your opinion and experience, what are the three most important, excuse me, factors for success as a graduate student?
How many? You think I know some when I came up with these questions. 3. I would say. Just going back, with what Eric said, part of it is being engaged in the classroom. Graduate school is very different than undergrad. You're not just sitting in the lecture hall. You are encouraged to share ideas, and you're going to get the most out of your classroom experience if you engage. And honestly, at least my experience, if you don't engage, your faculty will make you engage. So you don't really have that opportunity to be the person that sits in the back of the classroom and just doesn't say anything. You really do have to get used to engaging in in critical thinking and contributing to the discussion, because that really is what graduate school, a big piece of what graduate school is. I would say the other piece, and I only say this because of what I said earlier, which is the services for graduate students at UTSA did not exist pre about 2008, and most definitely not to the extent that they are now. So I would say take advantage of all of the opportunities, all of the free opportunities that are provided to you as a graduate student, not just on campus, but virtually. Tim and I went through the laundry list of everything that we, kind of in a nutshell of everything that we offer. Check your email, check social media, keep up with UTSA, the graduate school, so you know what's upcoming, when can I get free food, what swag is going to be offered. Is there going to be an event with coffee in the morning? Because as we all know, for most people, especially as a graduate student, coffee is important. At least some level of caffeine is important to keep you going. And we really strive, and I think that shows from the events that we put on for you all, the swag that we get, the amazing spread of food that Tim puts together for these events, is that we also really want to spoil you here at UTSA. We want to make you feel special and engaged and seen, but ultimately it is your choice of whether you take advantage of this or not. We are not going to make you, but we really do encourage you to engage. And then, gosh, the third one, you need to create your own opportunities. No one is going to hand you opportunities professionally or academically. If you want to present at a conference, if you want to present your research at a conference, talk to your faculty, figure out what the best avenue is. If you want to start looking for that next career opportunity within your field, you need to talk to faculty, go to the career center, take part in professional development opportunities, because again, no one is going to create the opportunities for you as a professional. You have to make your opportunities for yourself. So those would be the 3 things.
All right, Eric, another really good one for you as a current graduate student. What role does your cohort and classmates play in the success of your graduate school experience?
For my master's, my cohort was a huge part of that. I mean, they are still friends I talk with today, kind of like how John mentioned earlier, but his cohort. We always kept each other up, lift each other up when things were challenging. There are people going through a lot of like what you're going through with like grad school in terms of like you have similar schedules, you're focusing on the same type of material. So they were fantastic. They were a big part of like my success, my master's and my current program. My cohort plays that, but specifically like one of the people in the class has been transformative for me, where we became really good friends through like a research project. He helped get me involved with the research team. And he honestly helps me write like a lot. He challenges me to write better and he challenges me to get involved with routine. He's trying to change my current routine right now so I can read first thing in the morning, get up at like 5:30 and read. So that way I can have like a fresh mind. So this person's always pushing me and helping me and really challenging me to be a better academic and scholar, which is something that like for me has been very good and transformative. So the cohort, the classmates, they understand because they can see like what you're studying and see what's going on in the classroom. So it's just to have another layer of support. And I really want to emphasize to not use that, but be reminded that it's there. Like you have layers of support in different forms and to really rely on your cohort because they want to see you succeed just as much as you want to.
If I can add on to that, Tim, I mean, Eric made a really good point, and I was trying to think back to, because it was a long time ago, when I was in my master's program. But I remember, and I know that there's a good number of people on this Zoom that, and Eric may have felt the same. Tim is in a graduate program. He may have felt the same, where when you're going into graduate school, you think that this is, you think that what you're going to, which is highly elevated academically. And you also, so what happens, and not just in academics, but in other areas professionally, is you have some level of imposter syndrome, where you think, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not as smart as everybody else. What do I think I'm doing? And, if we were in a different format on Zoom, I would ask everyone that feels that way to raise their hand. And I think we probably get a lot of people raising their hand. What my classmates, my cohorts, the people that I started did for me is they some of them were starting at the same time, but we kind of had each other's back and we were in so many of the same classes together. And we just kept, I think we would push each other. We created study groups. So we really did this together. We kind of held each other up, because I will be honest with you, whether you are in a master's program or whether you're in a doctoral program, no one that hasn't done it, and when I say it, I mean graduate school, no one that hasn't done it can understand the amount of work and the amount of focus and dedication and time that it takes to get through a graduate program. Is it achievable? 100% absolutely. 100%. So trust me, I almost never received a bachelor's degree. I'll just air my dirty laundry. I almost did not receive a bachelor's degree. I was a non-traditional. Went to graduate school, so I exceeded honestly mine and my family's expectations when I just got a bachelor's of arts. So to go after a master's degree, I already was in my mind behind the 8 ball. But those people the people that I went through it with, and we still talk, they will help you succeed. And they are the people that will understand what you're going through. And they're the ones that are going to push you to the end, because you're going to push each other, you're going to help each other. And so I wholeheartedly agree with Eric. And it was wonderful, Eric. Thank you for reminding me of that piece of my graduate program.
All right, just a couple more questions before we finish up. As you can probably see, we have lots of people for the next section entering our Zoom room. But just to conclude things with 2 more questions. First, Eric, for you. Wait, no, Eric, you just spoke about that one. Okay. John, to you, of course, we know group projects are a huge part of graduate school. What factors contribute to success in group project work?
Not doing one, no. Group projects are challenging, and because there's always the possibility that not everyone is gonna share the weight of the project. I think where it's important, I was lucky, honestly, and because group work, if you all listening and are on this webinar, if you hate group work, it is a big part of graduate school. Group projects are a big part. You'll see it in maybe not every class, but a lot of them that you're in. But it provides you, it gives you the skill, a learning skill of learning about teamwork and working as a team. When you are in a professional field, so it's translatable in a skill set. So if you go into it looking at that, first of all, you want to create a team lead. It doesn't matter who, but someone that's going to be the team lead, that's going to keep everybody in the group accountable for their role. The other piece is specifically defining what everybody's role is, and specifically asking for deadlines for their various pieces, and then what the final outcome is. You have to meet regularly. Don't just be like, oh, okay, well, we'll meet whenever. Have a scheduled time where you're going to meet. You know, the one thing that the pandemic did, for as negative as it was, on the back side of the pandemic, virtual became a big player in academic and professional settings. And so now you don't have to worry about scheduling time to meet on campus or at Starbucks, or, I mean, not to say you can't, I love meeting at Starbucks, but now you can, you know, if your schedule's tight, you can just hop on your phone, hop on your laptop, your smart device, and join a meeting and have your discussions. But you really need to make sure that you have defined roles, expectations, and deadlines. And if you have that, then hopefully everyone will pull their weight and they'll be successful. The other thing you have to be prepared for is that not everybody is going to be just like you and is going to pull the weight and do the work. And that you and your group, the other people, the other members of the group may have to make up for someone else's shortcomings. It's just a factor of life. It not only happens in a group project in a classroom, it also happens in the real professional world. So it just is what it is.
All right, and then finally, one last question, Eric. How can students keep themselves motivated in the hybrid or fully virtual classroom environment?
So my program started towards the tail end of like the peak of the pandemic. So a lot of it was fully virtual. And then we started transitioning more into a hybrid and like fully in person model. So in the beginning, I think what motivated me, and this is like one of my mentors who works in a different department. She had told me this, and she reminded me of it, that you are part of the learning experience. The reality is you're not just paying to learn, like you're paying to have the experience of learning with others, because what you read individually, you, me, John, we could all read the same thing, right? And come up with some different interpretation of it, right? So you're coming to a classroom to facilitate knowledge. That's like really what the purpose of grad school is. So you all are going to be sharing and being part of that learning experience. So if I don't read and I come to discussion and I have nothing to say, it doesn't help my peers. And same, like when I can tell which of my peers didn't read and didn't contribute because I'm not maximizing my learning. So I think when we frame it and give it, you know, that kind of like accountability side of things, that like I'm part of the learning of experience for others, that's what helped keep me motivated to like remain engaged and be participating and really try my best, because I want for all the people I'm involved with to have that good experience.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, So that's going to conclude that student success panel with John and Eric. Thank you both for partaking and answering those questions. I'm going to hand it back over to John to usher us into the next segment of this orientation.
Thank you, Tim, and thank you, Eric, so much for joining us for this. And that was great. Thank you. And I'll let you can go. You mean you can hang on if you want to watch, but you're welcome to go as well. We are just going to go right into our next area, which is where you have the opportunity to get as many of your questions answered as possible. I am thrilled to welcome my colleagues from across campus and across campus services. We have Levi Rex from Wellbeing Services, Alicia Maciel from Campus Services, and if I pronounce any of your names incorrectly, please just correct me. Kranika Wynn from the Registrar's Office, Ashley Wallace from International Student Services, Sherry Southbury from UTSA Libraries, and Martha Smith from the Writing Center. Thank you all for joining me. I feel like we have, I think, well, I don't know how many, 9 boxes. I feel like we're the Brady Bunch right now, but it's pretty, there's just the perfect number of boxes, and that's what it looks like. Alicia, you're, at least on my screen, you're Alice, the housekeeper in this type of thing. I think Martha is Marcia.
I love being Marcia. Okay, that's great.
But this gives you the opportunity, you as students listening, to answer questions. Tim and I will attempt to field as many as we can as we go through the questions. If one of our subject matter experts is from across campus is not able to answer the question, we will try to find the answer for you either during the session or at a different time. So I'm just going to start going down. For disabled veterans, okay, so Alicia, this may be for you. For disabled veterans parking permits, can we order online? I saw no zero cost option. Does this mean I need to go in person? If so, what are the hours?
So our office is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. For that, you can either come into our office and show your paperwork with your disability with 50%, I believe, to get free parking, or you can submit an email to us at campusservices.edu.
Awesome, thank you. If we go in person to get our UTSA ID, will we have it immediately or will it still be mailed?
So you can 2 ways to obtain your ID card can be in person here, and you can get it reprints within a couple minutes, or you can submit a photo online, which it takes about a couple weeks to print and then send out as well.
Let's see the next question. Well, Alicia, you're very popular today. I've been having difficulty deciding which parking permit to purchase. I'm taking night classes at the downtown campus. Do you have any recommendations?
Probably the evening commuter parking, where you can park at a certain time at night. That would probably be your best option. If you're gonna have classes during the day, I don't know if you will, I would just do a regular commuter then.
And Tim just added a link to the UTSA ID card in the chat.
Awesome.
Feel free to look. Okay, so I'm looking at the next question. This is my mistake. You mentioned Blackboard. I just want to make sure, are we still using Blackboard or switching to Canvas? We actually are switching to Canvas. We are going to be a Canvas campus. So yes, and I'm sure you'll be receiving information from the university about Canvas and how to utilize that. Is there a fee to get an ID? Yeah, Alicia, I'll just answer that for you. The answer is no. It's part of your student services on campus, student fees. So you automatically get one, no additional fee.
But if you do lose it, it's a $10 replacement fee.
Good to know. Let's see, when will be the due date to submit tuition? Does UTSA accept credit cards to pay for them? And Kranika, do you have the answer to that as far as date to submit to it? Oh, you're muted. No,
doesn't look like you're muted, but we just can't hear you. Sometimes that happens to me and I leave the meeting and come back and it works.
Well, I'll come back to that. Will this presentation be accessible after the meeting? The answer to that question is yes. We are currently recording it. It will be placed on the Graduate School YouTube channel. And after probably within the next couple of days, I will send a link out to everyone that has registered, whether you were able to attend or not, so you can watch it. Let's see, are graduate students automatically enrolled in the student health insurance plan? I don't believe so. I think it depends on the type of graduate student, but I'm pretty sure the answer to that is no. Levi, I think this kind of falls under health services.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you cut out for a second, so I'm freezing
yeah,
up. I'm sorry, you cut out for a second. What was the question?
Yeah, are graduate students automatically enrolled in the student health insurance plan?
Yeah, so it does depend. I can go ahead because we do have some information about the student health insurance plan on our website. So I'll go ahead, paste some of that. Can I just paste it in the chat, John? Will everyone be able to access that?
Mhm.
Okay, I'll go ahead and paste that in the chat, and then I'll get you some contact information that you can reach out to if you're interested in enrolling or anything like that.
I've actually never received this question, but without being in person, is there a way to order graduate school apparel, which I think they mean swag? The answer is unfortunately, no. We are not able to ship graduate school swag, so you would need to attend an event on campus in person to receive graduate school, any type of apparel or swag. As a master's student, can I still attend to the orientation on the 15th? Very good question. The answer is unfortunately no. Next week, our orientation sessions are specifically for doctoral students. The information provided is specifically targeting our doctoral students and is part of their new individual student success professional development, or excuse me, development, not professional development. So it is required for them. So so the answer is no. As far as the short answer is no for next week. Where can we get the calendar of events? So there's a general calendar of events for all UTSA events. You can get that on the main UTSA site, utsa.edu. For our calendar events, I'm going to ask Tim to place that in the chat. And you can check back regularly on the graduate school website. We only have a few things on there right now, but by the end of August, it should be a lot. Most if not all of our events will be up there on our calendar. And I'm going to go back to that original question. Do we want to check if you're oh, still can't hear you. Let's see.
You may want to check the microphone that you're using on the where it says like mute, unmute. There's a little arrow, and if you check that, it'll let you know like which microphone you're using. That may be helpful. Oh.
Okay, did that work?
That works.
Okay, so it's the headphones. Sorry about that.
So the question, going back to the question, was when will be the due date to submit tuition? Does UTSA accept credit cards to pay? I do know we do accept credit cards.
We do accept credit cards. The deadline will be the 15th for the fall.
Perfect, thank you. See, I did not know that. Does anyone on any of my colleagues here, does anyone know about Canvas and where students can access that? I honestly do not know much. Okay, I will turn it over, Martha.
Yes, I've been spending a lot of time preparing my course for Canvas. But how I find it is, and I'm gonna look while I talk. When I go to my UTSA, so I go to utsa.edu, and then when I click on my UTSA, when I see, but maybe it's because I'm faculty, I see a link to Canvas. It says faculty access is now available. I bet that okay, I know the answer to this. Students will not be able to access their courses until I think the 17th. So, so you probably can't see it now, but on the 17th, you should be able to access Canvas in your courses.
Thank you, thank you. I'm not quite sure how to answer this. It is regarding the graduate school, but what departments are within the graduate building? So the graduate school doesn't necessarily have a building, although our building is called the Graduate School and Research Building. We're the only, I think, primary or the only graduate student service in this building. The graduate school is comprised of all of the graduate school office and then all the academic departments. So that's what comprises what is called the graduate school. And so we're all over campus. We have offices or departments at the main campus, at the downtown campus, at the San Pedro, the data science campus, the Southwest School of Art campus. So we're kind of all over the place. But yeah, but then all of our, a lot of our people here that are direct student service. So like Sherry with the library and Martha with the Writing Center, all of their services are provided, Ashley with International Student Services, Levi. Really all of us we do provide services or service to graduate students. So, and again, just to cover it, Levi handles well-being services or is a representative. Alicia is with campus services. Chronica, am I pronouncing your name correctly, by the way? Okay, good. Registrar's office. Ashley is with International Student Services, which we actually share a suite. Ashley is just down the hallway from me. Sherry is with UTSA Libraries, and Martha is with the Writing Center. And Martha actually heads up the Writing Center at UTSA. So with my programs and we do with students, you will see a number of these people a lot throughout your academic career. Let me see. Which parking permit should I buy for the downtown campus? I think Alicia, you kind of touched on that earlier. It really is probably the regular C commuter parking. I think is there still a Twilight Pass? Like if you only have evening courses?
Yeah, there's a Twilight permit. If you're only having evening classes, but our regular commuter permit can work for all campuses for those specific commuter spots.
For students who attended UTSA as undergrads, is there anything special we need to do regarding our existing? Oh, I can answer that. No, you're good. Your current student ID will work as for in graduate or as a graduate student. So there's no need to get a new one. Has anyone else had trouble getting IT set up? I've tried numerous times to get my email access going and still don't have it. Chronica, do you know anything about email, like student email accounts? Oh, you're muted.
That would help. Sorry, I do not have that information. If someone has a specific question, you can put it in the chat and I'll find out for you guys.
I think that if you contact Tech Cafe, which is the university IT services, and if you let them know you're having trouble with your student email account, they can help you troubleshoot it. And Tim, can you put their email address in the chat? They'll open a ticket for you. Usually some of these issues get resolved within 24 to 48 hours tops. Can I apply for financial aid now? And I'm going to turn this back over to Kronika.
For fall,
Yeah,
you can submit the application. It looks like the dispersal dates for that I just had is August 11th. So please go ahead and submit that ASAP.
yeah, for sure. And we encourage you in the future to get all of that stuff taken care of. You know, sometimes you can even do it 2 semesters before with the FAFSA and to get financial aid. And honestly, if you're a master's student, and Kronika, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but as a master's student, primarily you're going to get assistance in the form of federal student loans primarily.
It would be primarily loans, yes.
Let's see, I've answered that question. What is the stipend given for research or teaching assistantship? There's not necessarily a stipend provided. You're provided a salary as a graduate assistant, graduate teaching assistant, or graduate research assistant. So you're hired by a department to be in one of those positions. So it's a monthly salary that you would get paid. It's not necessarily a stipend per se. So if you have any questions about how you get paid, you can contact your academic department or whatever department hired you. If I was at UTSA for my undergrad, okay, that already answered that question. Answered that question. Can we get IDs at the downtown campus?
Yes, so our downtown campus, our office is open the same times Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So if you are on the downtown campus, you can get your student ID there as well.
Perfect, thank you. The online payment system for parking passes does not allow anything else but United States in the credit card payment area. Canadian provinces are included for other payment areas, but not for parking. Where do we go to buy a pass on campus?
Go to a window garage, so like Jimenez, and talk to somebody at the window. They'll be able to help you out with getting a permit.
Yeah, there's the 2 garages that have windows. Does a Bowerly still have a window attendant?
Yeah, Bowerly.
Yeah. So Bowerly and Jimenez Garage. So they're on one is on the west side of campus and one is on the east side of campus. How different are grad course load compared to undergrad? I think any of us that have been in graduate school can probably answer this question. I would say, even though you're taking less hours, it's more time consuming. You really can't skip on the reading. Your papers are going to be, there's higher expectation for projects, for research papers. I think there is potentially, depending on the number of classes you take per semester, a larger commitment, time commitment than undergrad. Is there anyone else that wants to chime in based on their experience? Regular part-time work, are there any restrictions for international students? Ashley.
What was the question again, John?
Regular or part-time work, are there any restrictions for international students? Can we work within the university? If yes,
Okay, yeah.
we apply.
So F1 students are allowed to work up to 20 hours per week during the semester. During the summer term, since it's an optional term for international students, can be full-time. I know most UTSA employment though is restricted to 19 hours per week as an internal policy. But international students could also work at Aramark, the bookstore, places like that are contracted through the university for up to 20 hours per week. So if you need a Social Security, just get in touch with us and we can help you with that process.
So thank you. When do we register for classes? Is it after this orientation or after orientation first visit? If you're a master's student, as long, you should already, and I'm not sure, Ashley, if there are restrictions for international, but you should be able to register for classes even before this orientation. This, unlike doctoral students, this is not a mandatory requirement for registration, at least not for domestic. And Ashley, I don't know if that policy has changed or not for international.
No, it's the same policy for international students. They're able to register as soon as they're admitted and their holds are taken care of.
Yeah. And if you have questions about, oh, I'm not sure what to register for first or whatever, then you would want to contact your academic department and speak to your graduate advisor of record or program coordinator or student development specialist, depending on the college and academic department. Do you have any idea about grad students qualifying for health insurance? I think we already kind of talked about that. Right, Levi? Mentioned that, health insurance.
Sorry. Yeah, I posted some information in the chat. I can repost it just in case they might have missed.
If they're international students, John, F1
Yeah.
international students, they'll automatically be billed for health insurance when they register for classes. So my office will actually be will be enrolling them in the health plan since it is a requirement per UT system.
Perfect, thank you. Kanika, when would we hear back for waitlisted classes?
Waitlisting classes, let me see, I just have that. If a student's currently on the wait list, it goes by priority, of course, and so the students are accepted as spaces open up. Typically, after the payment deadline, there's going to be quite a few spots that are going to classes start on the 21st as well. We'll have some as well. However, when the student space does open up, they will receive a notification that will give them 24 hours to accept the space in the class. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, thank you. Alicia, these next two are for you. I updated my student ID photo, but never received the follow-up email. Will my ID be mailed to me or do I need to get it printed on Canvas?
Go ahead and give us a call so we can look you up with your ABC 123 and see where you're on our list. And if not, or if you are on our list and we haven't reached out to you, we'll send you an email and we can discuss whether you can pick it up in person or we'll be emailing it out to you.
Let's see. I was told that I can purchase a parking permit on campus.
Most all parking permits are going to be purchased online through the My Parking portal. So you can find that on our website.
This is questions for me. For the extra funding for conferences, are there any restrictions for current staff? If you are, I'd love to know who you are. Do you want to know you? Your current staff at UTSA. Because then the answer is no, there are no restrictions. If you are a graduate student, you will receive, and you apply for the Graduate Student Professional Development Award, you will receive the funding if you are eligible. As a graduate student, it has nothing to do with staff, being a staff or faculty or anything. When should I expect my syllabus to be posted? Oh, well, that's a question for your faculty member.
I think that date is August 17th. As a faculty member, that's what we've been told, that our courses will go live on the 17th.
Okay, good to know. My professor mentioned using Canvas instead of Write. So we did mention, we answered that question. We will be using Canvas, not Blackboard. What is the contact info for the organization IT Hub? Okay, we already talked about that. Okay. This person is inquiring about statistical software offered by UTSA, I guess PSS, SAS, and does anyone on the call know where to find these software programs? Because I'm unsure. I know they're available. I just don't remember where they can be accessed.
So I know it's not in my department, but so I actually use a lot of like the graphic design software. So there is a and I'll find it and then put it in the chat, but there's a web page that contains all the software available to all UTSA students, how to download it, how to install it, things like that. So I'll just go ahead and pop that in the chat.
Thanks, Levi. Where do we go in ASAP to select our classes? Should be under, isn't there a tab for class registration or course registration? Yeah. So you just log into your ASAP account using your ABC 123 and passphrase, and then there should be a tab for course registration.
Yes, there's a tab under student services that says registration.
Perfect, thank you. You already have an ID as a staff member and employee. You do not need to get another ID as a student. Answered. I received a letter telling me to turn in all transcripts before classes with an email address to send them to. I have sealed paper copies that I ordered from my previous institutions. Can I turn these in person somewhere? I believe that's graduate admissions, right? Carnita, I think that's graduate admissions.
Yes, they can turn them in there, or they can turn them in at One Stop and we'll get a hold of them.
Perfect. And again, just in case you need to know, One Stop is located in the John Peace Library building on the main campus. First floor. I only have one in-person class per week. How should I go about purchasing a parking pass? I think it's whatever your preference is. I would say if you only have one in-person class per week, it's maybe just park in a garage.
Yeah, our hourly parking is $2.50 an hour. So
Okay.
yeah, if you want to do the math and you think it's worth, getting a permit, or if you think it's just better doing the hourly parking, it's just up to your preference.
Perfect. The question is how to get teaching assistantships. You would need to contact your academic department and see if they have any positions available. Only if they have positions available would you be able to be hired as one. But I would check back if you aren't able to get something this semester, maybe there'll be something available next semester. What are the part-time opportunities available inside campus? I'm guessing you're talking about part-time employment. You can go to the Career Center's website and use something called Handshake, which is a system specifically for our students here at UTSA. Log into Handshake and see what part-time opportunities are for employment are here at UTSA. Oh boy, I'm gonna move forward. That's a detailed question for graduate school. Can graduate students take 4,000 level classes or below? I don't remember the designation.
Yes, they can. There's a form that they can fill out. It's a petition form. It's for graduate students to take undergraduate courses. And once the form is filled out and we receive approval, then they are able to enroll in those level courses. I can drop it in the chat as well. Let me find the
Thank
form.
you. So for this question, the students, I'm currently in a role where I don't see myself here in a few years, specifically after grad school. That being said, how can UTSA grad program help me navigate professional opportunities such as internships that can eventually lead to a full-time position? I'm going to ask that student, if you're still on the webinar, to please email gps@utsa.edu with that question. And that way we can either talk to you one-on-one, or we can answer in further detail. I just want to have the time to think about that. And so we have, I'm not even scratching the surface on these questions based on the number I'm seeing. And so we're going to try to get through these as quickly as possible. How do you establish those relationships with your peers, mentors, professors? I think if you go back to the recording when you have and you look at some of the answers that Eric Uriagas gave in the last segment, he does a very good job in answering your question. Is there a section of the library reserved for graduate students? Sherry?
There's not a specific section in library reserve for graduate students, but it's your professors that put things on reserve. And they can do that through Canvas, actually, and they can actually post the list of things that are on reserve in Canvas. You can also look them up just by going to the library's catalog, the library quick search box. You can search for your professor's name or just for the book that they say that they put on reserve and see if we've got it. And by the way, your UTSA ID is your card. You can borrow things for 4 months, books for 4 months at a time. And the graduate student limit is 150 items.
Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome.
Question I may ask Madhumita and Tim to pop on. Can you please give me specifics about how hard or how difficult being a master's or PhD student? Well, this should be, so you should be a master's student if you're in this session. So I'm going to specifically answer or ask that we answer that question. Can you please give me specifics about how hard or difficult being a master's student is? There's a lot of time that we are investing here, etc. I would say it can be challenging, but it's definitely achievable in whatever discipline you're in. If you're in graduate school, it means that you're wanting to develop yourself professionally, academically, that you have a goal. You're here by choice. Most people go into a bachelor's undergrad program because it's what's expected after high school. You choose to go into a graduate program to further yourself. And so, yes, it is more work, and I will not sugarcoat it and say, oh, it's easy. It's like no work at all. It's a lot of work, but if you use time management skills, if you don't procrastinate and you keep on top of everything, and there is a way, even if you are a full-time working professional, that you can balance being a student, being a professional, and even being a family person, or being a parent, a husband, a wife, a spouse, a significant other, whatever. You can do it. I have worked with graduate students for the majority of my higher ed career, and they are successful. You just have to focus and also realize, especially in a master's program, chances are your program will take no more than 3 years. And so it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Although it may be more time consuming in the moment or in the semester than an undergrad, it is a shorter period of time. So to achieve your master's degree. So just keep focusing on that and ask for assistance. You have all these people on this call right now, all of my colleagues are here because they're wanting to make sure that you're successful during your time at UTSA. So you need to remember that there is a community of faculty and staff and administrators here to assist you, and you just need to simply reach out and ask. For students in an evening cohort, what is the best way to maximize what UTSA has to offer? I would say virtual pieces. If you are only on campus in the evenings, and maybe some of our areas are not live open. There may be virtual components you can take advantage of during the day, but I will let some of my colleagues talk about their hours of operation services, both in person and virtually, if they'd like to.
Okay, I would like to. So I'm Martha Smith with the Writing Center, and we work with graduate students to help them with writing assignments for their classes. Some of our tutors are graduate students, or they already have graduate degrees. But that was not the question. The question is, we have online tutoring 7 days a week where you upload a paper and chat live with the tutor. To make the appointment, I'm going to put this in the chat. You would go to our website, utsa.edu/TWC. That's the Writing Center website. On that homepage is a welcome letter from me, Martha Smith, with my email address. So you can email me with any questions. There's a square that says make an appointment. And first you would create a password, and then you could log in. Our default schedule is always our online tutoring schedule. And we have various sessions available 7 days a week, some in the morning, some in the afternoon, and on weekends too. So the best way to find out our schedule is to look at that calendar, because it changes every semester.
I also wanted to add that the John Peace Library is open 24/5. So during the regular semesters, if you want to be able to have a place to study in the evenings, we're open very late. The downtown library has slightly different hours. I'm going to go ahead and put the library hours in the chat so that you can access those. But you also have your own librarian who can serve as your research consultant, basically, to help you figure out the best databases, the best other kinds of tools to use to do your research. And we take virtual appointments as well as in-person appointments. So you can go to the Find Your Librarian page, which I'll also post in chat. See who your librarian is, and our calendars are right on there, so you can schedule appointments either virtually or in person.
In the interest of time, I'm going to move on. Ashley, this question is for you. Who could I contact regarding study abroad opportunities?
Study abroad, that would be Rosa Virginia Mendez, and I can put it in the chat as well. She's the program manager for study abroad programs.
Thank you. If we have a weekend class, do we need a parking pass, or can we, oh, you're already responding to that. Thank you.
I'll just go ahead and, because it's kind of a lot. So drivers can take advantage of permit-free parking in employee A, employee B, and unmarked commuter spots Monday through Thursday after 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. the next day, and then Fridays from 4:30 p.m. to 7 a.m. to the following Monday.
Thank you. Disbursement of aid is Friday, correct? Is any communication going to be sent out? I'm guessing they mean financial aid. Disbursement of financial aid is Friday.
I'm sorry, you were asking for a contact for financial aid?
No, they were asking when disbursement is going to happen. Disbursement.
Disbursement is the 11th. Yes,
The 11th.
it's Friday.
Thank you, thank you. Where can we find more information about loans for tuition? You can go to financialaid@utsa.edu. Or excuse me, utsa.edu/financial aid, and you can, and there should be plenty of information about student loans on that site. I'm an international student and will be reaching, I'm guessing, the United States on the 18th with night classes that start on the 21st. I'm not getting any weekdays before class. Will that be a problem for my immigration check-in process? Ashley.
Not an issue. Just when you arrive, just let us know and we'll help you with the immigration check-in requirement. Also, we'll be having a presentation next week on the 17th of August. It'll be a virtual presentation, so please feel free to join that as well. And we'll be recording it. We'll be sending it out to everyone. So if you miss that session, not the end of the world. Just let us know when you get here. We'll help you with whatever you need to get into your classes, get you enrolled in your health insurance and all of those requirements.
John, I'm noticing in the Q&A that there are some students commenting that they can't see anything being posted in the chat. And I'm noticing, like, for example, that I'm only having access to post to the host and us panelists. So if Tim could post those to everyone, that would be very helpful.
Thank you, Sherry. I wasn't aware of that. So
I just noticed it.
Yeah, Tim's posting some of the stuff. Thanks, Tim. Oh, Tim, you're only sending the hosts and panelists. There's a toggle at the bottom. There we go. Okay, something should be showing up now in the chat. How do we know how much money financial aid has awarded? I think that shows up on their ASAP account, correct?
Yes, it's going to be, I think, under that student services tab again, there's a part that says financial aid. And then if they go down further, it says award. So they're able to see a breakdown of everything they were awarded.
Perfect. We have, just in the interest of time, not just for all of you all, but also for my colleagues here, we're actually here at the end. If there is a question that you did not get answered, and again, it doesn't even look like, based on my number, that although I kept going through that, I think people just kept asking questions. You know, now if you have questions regarding parking, you can reach out to campus services. If you have questions regarding international components, you can contact International Student Services. And if you have questions about financial aid, if you have questions about registration, if you have questions about like any of those types of pieces, you can contact One Stop. And then if you have general questions about like health insurance, well-being, so meaning health services, counseling services, you can contact Wellbeing Services. Although if you're talking about insurance for international students, that would be International Student Services. And then if you have questions regarding, you know, how you get help with your graduate level writing and your writing projects, you can of course contact the Writing Center. And if you have questions about doing your research and who's my research librarian and how do I get in contact with them, of course you can contact UTSA libraries. All of these things, all you simply have to do, if you're like, well, I'm not going to remember all this, the graduate, or excuse me, not the graduate school, the UTSA website is very user-friendly. If you go to the UTSA website and you go into the search function and you type in any of those pieces, links will populate like it was Google. Links will populate specifically for UTSA, and you'll be able to go and do your research and get in contact with whoever you need to get in contact with. As I also mentioned, if you have a burning question that you just need answered now or need to know where to be directed, you can email gps@utsa.edu, and Tim or I will try to get to those questions as quickly as possible. So just as a reminder, classes start in just a little under 2 weeks. I want to thank both of my graduate school colleagues for being in here with me and helping me manage the site. So thank you, Madamita and Tim. And I would do a special thanks to all of my colleagues, Levi, Alicia, Chronica, Sherry, Ashley, and Martha for being with us this morning and afternoon and answering all of your questions. So again, on behalf of the graduate school, on behalf of the UTSA community, my colleagues, our current students, our faculty and staff, we wish you the best of luck. And remember, we have the services available for you. We have the resources. All you need to do is reach out and ask. That's what we're all here for. That's why we all do what we do. So have a very successful start to your semester. Enjoy your last couple weeks of time before graduate school and have a wonderful rest of your week, everyone. Thank you so much for attending.